artificial intelligence code bases, and other things that are not hardware but can enable hardware. Again, we saw this from the presentations this morning from both Sebastian and some of the startups and from Wilfred, being able to collaborate and build this stuff collaboratively instead of competitively, to Bruce Taylor's point, will move us all further faster. At a high level, think of TechStack 1.0 as enabling ag tech startups to plug into ag equipment manufacturers, equipment dealer networks, and some component manufacturers. TechStack 2.0 then takes that, builds on the effort, and enables ag tech startups to plug into more of Silicon Valley with the crowdsourced imaging that I mentioned earlier, image tagging, shared artificial intelligence and machine learning code bases, and don't forget these, the big data tools to make all of it happen, as the massive amounts of data collected by these harvest automation solutions can get used properly. I've talked to multiple startups about what access to an image library could mean. When you're starting a harvest startup, having access to, say, an apple library, a strawberry library, a broccoli library that you can start designing against and developing against at the starting point. When you talk to some of these startups that are out there in the market now, it's a 6 to 9 month head start if we can put the image library together for them, an image database together for them. We're building toward enabling that. We want that to happen. That's good for all startups. At the same time, I want to be clear about one thing. WGA is not asking any harvest startup to give up any intellectual property, or now or in the future. If you have intellectual property you've developed, keep that. All we're doing is setting the floor. So we're going to put this integration stuff out there. We're going to make that a floor that's available for everybody. What I hope happens, what I think is going to happen, I won't even say hope, what I expect to happen is that we will end up with entrepreneurs commoditizing the tractor, the robot arm, and the sensor layers, because those are great players that are out there in market. But the actual time that the entrepreneur invests gets focused on artificial intelligence to drive those imaging libraries into robot arm action and the end effectors themselves. Because we all know that the most sensitive part of this whole process is the picking of the fruit and veg, which is super hard, super complex, and deserves some IP. So that's my expectation, is that the smart entrepreneurs will spend time there and leverage the industry standard stuff that we're going to develop. The other point to make on this is that WGA will not be in the business of creating IP and licensing it. That's not the purpose of the tech stack. It's not the purpose of this initiative. We're going to publish this, help folks use it, not get in the IP and licensing business. The win for Western growers out of this is the startups that can scale faster and the growers' crops that get harvested or harvested faster because of the automation, period. We're not worried about the rest of it at this point. That's the win all by itself. So that's an overview of the tech stack. What it is, when and how it's getting built over the next 6 months, how we'll provide systems integration resources and build that roadmap for TechStack 2.0.